Good morning. Hiya, my name is Nyx, and this is the second devlog for my zombie survival game, which I call ZSG. If you want a more in-depth explanation of ZSG and like the thought process behind it, or just like the context that's needed for this video, I highly suggest that you go back and watch Devlog 1. It's a little rougher than this one quality-wise, but it's going to give you the information you're looking for if you're confused at any part during this devlog. I'll put it in the cards, like the little information thing, and in the description for you if you want to see it. If not, all you really need to know is that it's a zombie survival game with a focus on family, community, and relationships, all in a post-apocalyptic setting. The most recent build of ZSG, which this video will focus on, is version 0.02, which I call the foundation version. So if you've already watched the first devlog, you'll know that I've already started working on version 0.02 outside of this video. For those of you who aren't in the know, I initially planned to condense version 0.01 and 0.02 into one video, but I ran into some trouble implementing the latter version, so I ended up having to end the video early and scrap the changes, unfortunately. The main issue was the character movement system. I wanted the player to be able to create and control up to 9 players at a time, similar to managing a household in The Sims or managing a party and switching between party members in Baldur's Gate 3, except it's not like you have your main character and then like the other people that are just like with you that you can control. It's like they're all your people, your household, I guess. I call them teams in this game. Regardless, I'm in like a really awkward place between beginner and intermediate when it comes to coding in Unity, because I've been doing it for years, but not seriously enough that I've been able to actually retain anything, at least not a significant amount of what I've learned until recent years. Thus, I had no idea how to implement this character management system, especially since I wasn't just gonna be like switching control like The Sims. Like, I was switching which character you can control via like WASD. So, because I'm really smart, instead of researching beforehand, I just left everything hanging, which didn't go well and made me very, very overwhelmed, and I just had to stop. Now that brings us to this video's goal, which is essentially to rework version 0.02 in a way that's actually sustainable this time. So I started this process by making a web, like a system web, in Milanote, which not sponsored. I don't have enough pull to be sponsored by them, although I would love that because I use Milanote for all of my projects. Anyway, I made a system web in Milanote, essentially like plotting out all of the systems and how they interact with each other, because that's one of the things that caught me up last time. I made sure to specify all the ways in which each system depends on another so that I can better decide like what order to work on things in, instead of doing what I did last time, which was we're gonna complete the entire combat system and then getting partway through and realizing, oh crap, I need to go do this, because if I don't do that, then the combat system doesn't work. Like that kind of thing. And I keep scrambling and running back and forth. I had a set plan. I also watched a lot of tutorials and did a lot of reading on scriptable objects and the Unity like event system and like delegates and stuff like that. So I did all this research because I wanted to have some semblance of an idea of what I was going to do once I got to the implementation stage. Part of the way through this stage, I got a little bit overwhelmed, but I took a nap. And then it was all better, because apparently I'm capable of learning from my mistakes. Who would have thunk it? So the implementation was where it started getting a little sticky. I started with the data/saving system, which was the worst part of all of this, not gonna lie. I learned how to save to JSON files and read from JSON files, which was nice, even though I almost lost my mind trying to get the data to actually save. I don't know how, I don't know why. As far as I can tell even now, I was doing everything right, but all of my data was saving as blank for some reason, and I fixed it. I don't know how I fixed it. My code from when it was being bad and my code now look almost completely identical. It works now though, so I'm not gonna question it. I'm not gonna fight it. I laid out the scenes. I also fixed the lighting in the game scene because it was straight up blinding before. I don't know how I didn't catch it back then. Watching my video back, like when I was editing, I was like, oh my gosh, ow, why is it so white? Why is everything so bright? I don't know why I didn't notice that like in the moment, but I I fixed it. It's good now. It's better. It doesn't look that good, but it's better than it was before. It's not blinding. So, a win is a win. I also spent like every hour I had in the last few weeks of March working on this version. I kid you not. Like, I was hyper fixating so hard on ZSG. Like, every moment I had that wasn't in class or eating or sleeping, I was working on ZSG. Was that healthy? No, but I don't get to pick and choose when my hyperfixations happen, and they're almost never healthy. Like, that's the rule, I think. Like, if it's not consuming every waking moment of your life and making everything else fade into the background, is it really a hyperfixation? I think not. Also, I kept breaking stuff, so the majority of my motivation was coming from unbreaking them. I'm a problem solver at heart. That's what energizes me, unfortunately. Speaking of broken things, I started working on the character management thing, and somehow I broke the damn camera. I managed to get it where it was switching between the characters, and we were fine, and the characters were moving around and stuff, but I broke the damn camera. I don't even know how to describe what happened. I don't even know how, because I barely even touched the thing. I literally just made a script that just, like, because I use Cinemachine, like, cameras. Like, I think it was the Cinemachine free look camera. And I attached a script to it that basically was like, hey, check this other script to see which character is active, and then make your look at and follow target that character. That's all you gotta do. And that's all I did. But the camera, like the rig, just was like, nope, and it stopped working. What's so annoying is that I fixed it by just deleting that particular instance of the camera and then adding the same prefab back into the game unchanged with the same script attached to it. I did not rewrite the script at all. I didn't change the script. So I don't know what broke it in the first place, truly. I'm not sure why I didn't break it again the second time, but I'm not gonna argue. I'm just glad it's fixed because it was driving me absolutely insane. I actually streamed, like, trying to fix it for an hour and a half, I think, on Twitch. I was gonna stream for 3 hours, but that was a stream that made me realize I'm not streaming game dev because I was, like, freaking out, splitting it at the seams. Like, I was, like, about to have a mental breakdown. And I don't want to do that live and still have to, like, give commentary and be interesting. I don't want to do that. So I also don't have the VOD because I was just so fed up after that. I didn't download it off of Twitch, and Twitch deleted it by the time I got there. But that's okay. The interaction and item systems also drove me a little bit insane. I could not get them to work correctly for the life of me, y'all. Like, I had to rewrite the entirety of both systems, go really off script, like in terms of the outline, which is usually fine, but like I was just making it up really poorly at that, which is fine, I guess, because eventually they just started working magically. They don't work well. It's like all very clunky, and if the slightest thing happens, it breaks. But I just won't let the slightest thing happen. I'll just be super duper careful and it'll work. I'm gonna leave it alone for a while. I'm probably gonna fix it next version, but for right now, we're taking a break. I'm not doing that. I'm leaving it alone. Implementing the other systems went off without a hitch, more or less. But after I added all of those ones, I had to update the data system so all the new information gets stored. And when I tell you, that was almost my 13th reason. Oof, I was ready to hurt somebody, truly. I spent 9 hours on that part of the data system alone, and that was in 1 week. I'm not even kidding. The entirety of version 0.02's implementation was 33 hours spread across like 3 weeks, which doesn't seem like a lot, but hear me out. I'm a full-time college student who has a job on top of that, okay? 33 hours is like all I get outside of those things. I was convinced this was never gonna end, especially since I couldn't figure out why the system wasn't working. I don't even remember if I fixed it. I might have, but my brain just like erased it or something. I don't know. I could have just ignored it and decided I was done. I have no idea. To explain, the problem was in loading saves. One, I was having like a big problem with like getting stuff to load in, like it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. But when the main menu opens, I have a little method run that basically checks the save folder to see if there's saves, and then it grabs those saves so that you can see like in the list, like, okay, I have save number 1, I have save number 2, I have save number 3, and then you can you can take that and I don't think you know. it'll find all the saves. So let's say I have 4 saves. It'll find the 4 saves and it'll create a save like visually, like in the UI for each 4, and you can pick each one and it's like associated with that particular save, and then you can load it, right? But there's something wrong with the index. I don't know why. It's correct, but for some reason, it doesn't matter how many saves I have, my index was like every single time it went over 1. It was like, oh, that's too many. What do you mean that's too many? I can see that I have 8 things in this list, okay? I see that I have 8 saves in this list. There are 8 items. So you should not be stopping until after you get to 7, okay? Right? But it would stop at 1, and then it would be like, sorry, index out of range. What are you talking about? And I don't know if I fixed it, and I'm not gonna check, because if I look back and I've realized that I have to focus on that next time, I'm gonna cry. So I'm gonna ignore it for right now, because I take a break after every version of like a month just to sleep and not do that. That's why it took me so long to get this video out. Either way, that marks the end of this version's implementation as far as I'm concerned. Now ZSG has a functioning inventory, 3 items, which are a bag of chips, bottle of water, and a bottle of like pills, and the player can use any of those 3 to increase their satiety, hydration, and health needs respectively. They can create and name up to 2 characters because 9 was too many. They can switch between them both in the game, as well as save and load these characters' information. They can now die by zombies who still move really stupidly. I actually crashed my computer a few times because I was unintentionally having them get hit every single frame because I forgot, and I had to restart Unity multiple times because I'm really smart. I'm super intelligent. Oh, and a character's needs don't decrease at a snail's pace anymore. That's not a feature. Like in the future, I'm gonna have to lower the speed at which needs go down, but for now, the only person playing the game is me. And it's really annoying having to wait like 10 minutes when I'm testing for the hunger to go down. And then I have to wait another 10 minutes for the health to go down. And that would be really great when you're playing the game so you don't die in 3 seconds because you didn't have food in your inventory. But like for me, I'm testing and I know I can add cheats, but I'm lazy and I don't want to yet. I think I'm gonna do that next version, potentially. Anyway, I was not initially expecting to cover this much ground in version 0.02. I wasn't planning to add an inventory or anything like that for a while, or items, or like revamping the like survival system or whatever. Actually, my initial plan for this version was to add the team management system and some very basic autonomous character movement, the same as like what the zombie stuff was before, just wandering around, but then when they come in range of a zombie, running away. And a very basic combat system, which is literally just if you are in a certain range of a zombie and they are on like in your crosshair, you can hit them. That's it. I honestly don't have any regrets in terms of this version either, which is strange. Like I definitely made some mistakes and some systems aren't as polished as I'd have liked them to be, but I did way more than I planned to. And to expect perfection on top of that is unrealistic, especially this early into the game and at my current skill level. I'd say personally, I finished it. And that was the goal. Everything else was just extra. Anyway, so that was the second build of ZSG. Thank you all so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed making it. And I know like what with the way that I talk, it seems like I hate what I'm doing, but it energizes me truly. Like I may seem seconds away from a breakdown, but trust me, that's a sign that I'm having the time of my life. Regardless, if you did like this, I highly suggest that you subscribe so that you can see more videos like this and you can, you know, follow along with the development of ZSG. By the way, if you're at all interested in visual art or art school vlogs or media commentary, I have another channel where I do all of that stuff called Nixby Art, which will be in my link tree and maybe suggested somewhere here. I don't know. It's a lot similar to this channel as well, except I do all of the stuff I mentioned instead of just purely game dev stuff. I also plan to do like some behind the scenes things that are related to this channel. It's gonna be a minute before we get to the character customization update, but when we do that, all the behind the scenes, why am I stuttering? But when we do, there will be a whole video over there waiting for y'all that is the entire process of me designing the characters and putting them together and modeling them and all of that. This channel is more so like the game, like the build, and then that's more so like the creative aspect of it and design, you know? I would honestly consider this channel, like the devlogs, to be like really long-winded patch notes with a lot of explanation for like why we made the decisions we did in the patch notes, you know? My other socials are gonna be in the description in my link tree. And by the way, if you can and if you would like to, please take a little visit, take a little stroll over to my Ko-fi. I'm currently trying to save up to get a new laptop because mine is going on, I think, 5 years old, maybe 6, and it's not doing well. I need it for school and I need it for this. And I've had laptops just straight up die on me before. Anyway, sorry for the excessive yapping. I usually yap, but not that much at the end. With that, I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope you have a good day, night, or whatever time it is for you. Bye-bye.